Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at this large Tuesday night slate on DraftKings. I think it's a 15-game slate here. We have a showdown earlier in the afternoon with game one of a doubleheader. So game two of that doubleheader, Boston versus New York. We're not going to have too much interest in just because of the bats are losing an at-bat, and it's a all right pitching matchup, but that one's only going to be a 7-inning game. As for the other games, just make sure you're paying attention to all the weather that might be happening in the summer storms that might be popping up and whatnot. Before we begin, as always, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out, providing all this free content for you guys. Hit that thumbs up button, and you guys know the deal by now. So we can just get started with the pitching. There's a lot of good options that we can pay for. It's the perks of having a nice 15-game slate. Corbin Burnes right up at the top. As far as a ceiling, he's clearly the highest ceiling on the entire slate. He's had 3 games since June where he's been, if you go farther down, it's there, but he's had 3 games since June that were over 40 DraftKings points, which is just absurd. His last time out, going up against the Cubs, put up almost 50. Granted, it is the Cubs. We're pretty much targeting any pitcher against the Cubs at this point, just with the tailspin that they are in. But still, Corbin Burnes going up against St. Louis. It is a tougher matchup. St. Louis isn't a slouch, but they're not. It's not the Dodgers. It's not the Padres that he's facing. So I do have interest in Corbin Burnes. 10.2K. He's not going to absolutely destroy your salary at all. But we do have to think about salary on this slate just because it is a core slate with 2 great matchups. And we have a Dodgers in a great matchup. So we have a lot of high price bets that we kind of want to be paying attention to. It's definitely possible. The value is there today. So Corbin Burnes, I think it's a great play at 10.2K. Valdez and Alcantara, just way too expensive for me given the matchup, given the situations. Eovaldi, Stroman, Means. I mean, I'm kind of the same thing. I'm not really too interested in these guys. They got tough matchups, and just they're priced too high, especially because of who is priced below them. I like these guys. I like this range here a whole lot more. Bassett, Wainwright, Webb, and Manoah. I have interest in all 4 of these guys. Bassett, he's been in great form. Going up against the White Sox, right-handed pitcher going up against the White Sox. The Chicago really struggles a lot more against right-handed pitching just because they have that already lineup. So Bassett, he lets a lot of ground balls. He gets that, or he can strike out a lot of guys. He does a lot of ground balls as well. But you can kind of see the form that he is in. He hasn't faced the greatest offenses at all. So you do have to pay attention to that. But still, I think Bassett should definitely be on your radar in this price range. Wainwright going up against Milwaukee. We know that Milwaukee can strike out a lot as a team. Wainwright coming off his magical 42-point performance. A complete game shutout, 88 pitches. It's just amazing what he's been able to do. He's starting to turn into the ageless wonder here. I don't expect another performance like this. In fact, if you go back through the season of pitchers who have had a complete game shutout, they tend to struggle in their next game. But if you look at a lot of those pitchers' pitch counts, they're all typically around 110, 115 pitches. He did it in 88. This is just a casual day out for Wainwright. So I don't expect the regression that we have seen in a pattern with pitchers who have gone a complete game. But still, he's got a nice matchup. He can get the strikeouts in this. I like him at this price point. Logan Webb, nice matchup going up against the Mets, who have kind of they've been the Cubs. They just keep falling farther and farther and farther down. So Webb, kind of the same deal as Bassett, as Wainwright. He's in great performance. I think he's more of a tournament play. I wouldn't really put him as much in cash. But for tournaments, I think he's a great option. He did get a serious price boost. He was just in the 6Ks not too long ago. But you can see, he's got that strikeout upside. It is there. He limits fly balls. So I do like Webb in this range. And then Manoah, we all know what Manoah can do with strikeouts and his strikeout ability. He's probably going to be in line for the win, or should be in line for the win. I think he should be able to get to 5 innings against this Washington offense, who really outside of Soto just doesn't really scare you at all. So Manoah, I certainly have some interest in him. 114 pitches his last time out. So maybe he has a little bit of fatigue, but he did get that extra day of rest in there. They gave it to him. So I do like Manoah. Again, I think this is a nice range right here that you could be paying down to as opposed to going to guys like Valdez or Alcantara. Sliding on down, YNOA, he is back. He's coming off the IL. If you guys remember, YNOA, he is a guy who has some serious strikeout ability. We love his strikeout ability here. You can kind of see what he had done before he did get placed on the IL. And a 7,300, that is just way too cheap against a bad offense in a great hitter's park. So I have a lot of interest in YNOA. The one thing that you do have to be paying attention to, and I've talked about it all season long, is pitchers in their first game back off the IL, especially like the 60-day IL. You have to be a little bit concerned about their pitch count and how far they're going to be going. It does say that in his rehab outing, he did go 83 pitches. So even if you can go 83 pitches at 7.3K in this matchup, I think he's more than capable of paying off his salary. So I have a lot of interest in YNOA. Gutierrez, you have to mention him going up against the Cubs. Pretty much anybody against the Cubs you're going to be paying attention to at this point. And scrolling on down, there's not really too much else that I'm going to focus on here, just to kind of keep the video a little bit shorter. I am in a time crunch. So that's kind of it for pitchers. I think there's a lot of great pitching options. Burns, and then just kind of these four, the BASSITT, WAINWRIGHT, WEBB, MANOAH, YNOA, and then Gutierrez. I think those are all guys that I want to be highlighting today. Turning towards the bats, we have to start off with Coors Field, just because it's Coors Field, and we have a bad pitcher in Strom. Strange noise. I think it's the garbage truck. It's garbage day again. I mean, this is becoming a Tuesday trend on these videos. Strange noises coming from the garbage truck. But back to Coors here. Marquez, he's not a slouch of a pitcher. He does fairly well, all things considered, in Coors Field, but it's still the San Diego offense. So the line isn't out yet for the over/under, but I would expect this one to still be the highest total game on the slate. A hitter that we do have to be paying attention to, Connor Joe. If he is leading off once again, I think he's you got a price decrease. He's 2.8K now. Just plug him in. Just don't even think any 2 seconds about it. Plug Joe in at 2.8K. He's clearly the number one value on the entire slate. But I love Colorado. I love San Diego. You can't really go wrong in Coors Field here. Another team you want to be paying attention to is Houston, going up against Lynch. Houston, not only are they in a favorable matchup and they are a good offense, they have a lot of value with them. I mean, you got Brantley at 3.6, Diaz at 3.3. Even, down the line, McCormick 2.4, make sure you're paying attention to the lineups. But these guys, like, their offensive ability in this matchup, they shouldn't be priced this low. So I think Houston is probably going to be one of a top, I'd say they're a top tier stack. They have a high implied run total. They got injuries. They're banged up. So they're going to have some serious value throughout the lineup that you can find. And with that value, you're able to throw in the guys like Burns and match them up with a guy like BASSITT or Wainwright or Manoah, a guy at the higher end of the salary line. YNOA is down there at like 7.3K, so you can jam him in. But I don't think salary is going to be an issue on this slate. There's lots of value, like Joe on Colorado, that you could be turning towards. Next team is going to be the Dodgers. Dodgers really struggled against Pro. For Pittsburgh, the guy just was mowing him down, but I don't expect that to be happening again here tonight with Will Crow. So I like the Dodgers. It's kind of like a late night, let's do well and kind of overtake everybody. If you kind of pay attention to the bats that I have been paying attention to, it's a lot of the later games. I'm not really interested in much of the offenses in this earlier stretch of games. So it's going to be one of those nights where just don't look at where you're standing in your contests until at least 10 o'clock, maybe, because you're going to be at the bottom because you're not going to have any bets. But I do like the Dodgers in this matchup. And I'll give you one more team, one cheap team. Minnesota going up against Morgan. Morgan, he's not a slouch of a pitcher by any means. He's not a gas can, but he's not great at all either. And I just like the pricing on Minnesota. Kepler, he had a leadoff home run for us last night, 4.2K, very reasonable. But then you just get to the absurdity. Donaldson at 3.5, Polanco at 3.5, Arias is at 2.8. These guys are just way too cheap for the ability that they do have. And like I said, it is against a favorable pitcher in Morgan. So Minnesota, I think if you want to get some one-offs, just a mini stack with these guys, I wouldn't put them as like your major stack on a 15-game slate. But if you want to get some one-offs or a mini stack, I think Minnesota is a great team that you can be targeting tonight. So, that doesn't cover everything. It's a 15-game slate. They're massive. If I didn't cover a team, it doesn't mean that I'm not on them. It just means that it's a major slate. Cincinnati, there you go. There's another team for you. Cincinnati at home, I'm always going to be interested in them. Winker, he went on the IL earlier on the week, but still, they have a lot of bats. It's Cincinnati at home. Hendricks, not too terrified of him. So there's your extra bonus team for staying this long in the video. So that kind of wraps things up. Again, hit that subscribe button. Come join our Discord. We've been getting some new people in the group chat. It's been fantastic. I think the link's down in the description below. So come check out our Discord, join the fun. We'd love to have you. So good luck in your contests, and we will see you in the next video.